Mike, don't get jealous of the haircut.
I won't.
What is up, everybody, and welcome back to Italian Football TV. Italy, we got our first win over Ukraine. It was scary at the death, but I think everyone's maybe calmed down a little bit after the 1-1 to North Macedonia. Scared us.
Sure.
What come down? Come on.
You're not happy?
No, I'm not happy.
Okay. Why?
Why am I not happy? Because, first of all, we have no center forward. There's three things that I really didn't like today. The player that played in front of the defense, he didn't do a good job. You need somebody else there. We have no center forward. You need a center forward. And if you want to play Raspadori, because I like Raspadori, put him on the wing and get a center forward. Let's get a center forward there. Let's give him ball. Let's give him... I mean, we missed so many chances in front of the goal. And they're shooting all over the place. And they're like 10, 15 yards away from the goal. I mean, you can hit... You need the center forward. The center forward has got a different mentality. Yeah. They always aim for the goal. So find somebody, even if you get, Retigui, let him play. Let him play from the beginning. And if you really like Raspadori, you can put him on one side. And Zaniolo did a very good job today. I think he gave him 3 or 4 balls that the guy was right in front of the goal, and we missed.
He gave one to Raspadori. That was perfect.
No, he did more than one.
Zaniolo, he was up in the air for me.
And the last thing that I didn't like, no energy in the second half. In the second half, I thought we were flat.
That was kind of the theme. We did that the last match against Macedonia.
I feel like the subs that he made didn't give us that additional sprint, that additional part that we needed to, getting fresh legs into the game. Obviously, Ukraine had more of a willingness to score because they were down, but I feel like Italy has to do a better job in controlling that game and being able to get that third goal to close it out. And we weren't able to do it. And, there's growing pains to this team because I think if we look at the Euros, right, it was in a sense a false hope maybe, or something that kind of happened out of the blue that no one was expecting. And all of a sudden we were like, oh, we're back.
How so?
We made a run. And even during that run, I mean, we played great games, but a lot of times we didn't win those games outright in 90 minutes. So I'm nothing to take away from what Italy did and what Mancini did at that point, but that little bit of just being able to just carry on creates a mentality for that team, right? You win games, now all of a sudden you think that you're unbeatable, and then obviously we knew and saw what happened. When Jorginho misses a penalty kick, or we can't win 3 games to not make another World Cup. It's not acceptable. And I think at this point, we're still struggling to find that mentality. Who are the real leaders of this team? Spalletti, I think his approach with these 2 games coming, he was, I don't want to make too many changes. Let's see with what we got.
Which is the right thing to do.
Yeah, exactly. And try to organize what's going on. I think Raspadori, is he the number 9 for Italy, the saving grace? No. But I think he offers a lot more quality to hold up the ball, to make something happen besides what we have. Immobile, Retegui are more of that target striker, number 9 that's going to finish. And unfortunately, Italy, especially in this time, we don't have this, creative genius that can make something happen. We have, even in the midfield, Barella, Frattesi, great players, but those guys are just bulls, really, running up and down, can get the cross, can take the shot. As we see, Frattesi had a remarkable game, and Marco called it. So
we said before the game, though, he's the only... It's kind of crazy that our midfielder is the guy that scores 2 goals, which goes to what you're saying about the creativity up top.
Yep. And listen, Zaniolo, I think, I think in the beginning struggled a bit, but then came to his senses and started showing his quality. Couldn't say the same thing for Zaccagni, really
bad.
Defensively also, this is a young new crop of guys. Bastoni, Scalvini, hopefully for the future can be solid. But today we saw some holes even within the midfield when we lost the ball, and it's a cause of concern. But all in all, the victory today was the most important thing. We can't allow another North Macedonia debacle. So there's important games coming up, and we have to be able to. We're in the driver's seat. This Ukraine game was big, and we need to be able to win out. maybe versus England you're allowed to lose, but that's it.
Yeah, no, Pete, I agree with you. I think the biggest problem now with Azzurri is what Gaetano was saying, finding that number 9. And the second thing is being clinical. I mean, in today's match, we saw that Italy could have scored 4, maybe even 5 goals, but they were unlucky. But at the end of the day, that's part of the sport. Yeah, unlucky. But you also gotta be efficient in front of the net. You know, you put that game away. Italy shouldn't be sweating those last 20 seconds, but like, oh my God, holding on to that 1-goal lead. It shouldn't get to that.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Yeah,
like
it was
longer than 20 seconds.
20 minutes.
Antonio started supporting Ukraine at one point because he was so mad with the way they were playing.
No, I meant like the last 20 seconds of the game, just like hoping to blow. Everyone was screaming, blow the. And I was like, it shouldn't be like a 1-goal thing holding on. But whatever, you can say they were unlucky hitting the post. Raspadori probably should put a couple away and whatever the case is. But this is a new Spalletti era now, so we got to give him time, regardless of what happened now. You know, it's not going to happen overnight. Even with Napoli, it took some time. There's a lot of talent on this squad, but I still feel like that's the key weakness, having that striker up there.
You can't say anything about the coach. I mean, whoever coach you put there, these are the players that you have, and you got to try to do the best with the players that you have. The best thing that happened today was Frattesi. This guy doesn't even play, doesn't even start for Inter, and he played very well. I liked him. He was the only one running in the second half, actually. He was still running in the 90th minute, and that's really the best thing that I like about this team. But you got to give, these are the players who don't have a number 10. We're missing a number 10 and we're missing a number 9.
Frattesi was the man. By the way, Antonio, we mentioned Antonio. He started supporting Ukraine for a minute. Antonio's supposed to be on this podcast, and just for everybody at home.
He got a call.
You want to go get a Ukraine shirt or something? I don't know.
Antonio was so mad at the way that we were sitting back and defending and how we were playing that he said, all right, let Ukraine tie the game. That's what he went to. But the reason why he's not here is because he went to a Mets game, and he's a Yankee fan.
Baseball.
And they suck.
And it's baseball.
Baseball.
He left the podcast for that. He ran
And there's
out.
no playoff implications. Like, this team is out in the water.
To be fair, none of us did tell him, like, Antonio, do you remember that we're doing a podcast? We all kind of just let him go.
Yeah, but
we did chat this morning.
We said
that
it,
was a
we said it in a
remember?
group chat.
I'm just saying, I think we were all okay with him leaving too, because everyone was stayed silent.
We might have a conversation where we're not screaming over each other for once.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe he was out of it. Because when you said, what kind of panino do you want? He said, yes.
You believe that? And then I said it again, and he said panino.
you maybe read, do you want? Like, panino, do you want?
You read it wrong.
Don't cover for him.
But Frattesi was a man that when Peter was here hanging out before the game and we saw the lineups, he was the man that I was so happy to see, because there's nobody that breaks the line like him. He's such a killer in the box, and I know that we struggle for goals. And last year we see it with Sassuolo, we see the runs even he made with Inter in preseason, where I said he's the problem. He's the only one that in the box, he's cool, he's a little bit calm, he could put the ball into the back of the net. And I'm waiting for him to start for Inter, because I'm telling you, he's going to be a problem. I think he could become one of the best players, best transfers in Serie A this season once he gets his momentum, and when he gets that starting spot for Italy and for Inter, he's never going to let it go.
Yeah, I think his timing is one of the best midfielders that are the box to box that can make that last minute run into the box and find the space to score. Well, very, very rare quality to find, and he does it well. I think with Inzaghi, he just takes his time with his players as far as switching these guys and getting them in. Mkhitaryan obviously last year made an unbelievable run with Inter to the final, so he's kind of giving him the hierarchy, right? Saying, hey, you're still part of this roster, part of that, 11 starters, and then little by little he'll probably go
in the
because
derby,
of his age.
In the derby, who would you start? Frattesi or Mkhitaryan?
For me, I would always start Frattesi. I think Mkhitaryan also adds a level off the bench, because Mkhitaryan can play in different positions and it can also beat his man on the dribble. Whereas Frattesi, his skill set is more of a guy that's going to run by you. Mkhitaryan can create space out of nothing. So
about the striker position, though, I think that I understand what you're saying about Raspadori, and I agree he needs to be more clinical. But I really like the link-up play that he had, which for me, and I know Immobile scored last game, and I know Immobile is not the result of us drawing against Macedonia. He scored the goal. He's not every problem that Italy has, right? It was just one of the problems is the striker position. And for me, Immobile, even though he scores the goal or whatever, his link-up play is awful. It doesn't help us move forward within the game. And I know a lot of Lazio fans are going to come at us for talking about this because they really love Immobile. And there's a lot of fans in general that like Immobile. And I think he's very good in Serie A. He's very good at what he does. But for the Italian national team, we don't have a build-up player. So Raspadori, for me, I saw him do that really well. Like as a 9 that checks in and allows open space. He did it really well in the first half. But now that I heard you say that and I heard you say that, each of you, about the number 9, the man that comes to mind, what the hell are you doing, Mike?
The thing wasn't clicked on.
The man that comes to mind is Scamacca. Scamacca is a little bit of the striker that is good with his feet, but then is also can be a more natural center forward who's clinical in front of goal. I know he's still getting his feet wet at Atalanta, but I think for the next round, the next call-ups that we have, I think in October, he's got to be the man that we look at.
Yeah, for sure.
Does everyone agree?
Yeah,
I agree. And going back to Immobile, I mean, for the Lazio fan, listen, he's one of the best center forward in Serie A. And I don't dispute that. I mean, the guy's been leading scorer, is great. But when he makes the next step to the next level, it just in the national team, he can score. So, it's not... Certain players can only reach certain level. And for Serie A, he's one of the best.
Because I think there's a long list of guys that were able to score goals in Serie A and doesn't translate into the national team. I mean, even Totò Di Natale, Alberto Gilardino, these guys were always... Mancini, another one back. Like, these guys always scored a lot of goals in Serie A, but never translated into the national team. And when you reach that level, in part, I think also the players around Immobile with Lazio give him more chances in front of goal. Whereas the players around them with the Italian national team, unless he's going to be able to create on his own, he doesn't have that sprint or somebody giving him that ball on the silver platter.
But it's even besides just the goals, which obviously I know we care about goals with the center forward, but it's also the link-up play. I see him do it very poorly. In the game against Macedonia, I can remember so many times he's getting the ball, he's leaving a 5-yard pass or whatever it is, and he doesn't allow the team to move forward in a good way. So that was even more my problem because we were losing the ball a million times. But there was others on the team as well that were doing the same thing. Even Zaccagni today, I was not crazy about him. Who else? Also, we had the Bastoni and Scalvini starting as the pair, the two pair in the back. Mm-hmm. What did you think about them?
I don't think it was great, but I also think that for a younger duo, center backs, no real experience together, it can pass. But it's still, I think these are the guys for the future, unless somebody else comes out. But, not a perfect display today. That's how I see it. But I can't really expect them to be these, the Chiellini-Bonucci pairing already. Like those guys especially played together with Juventus for so many years, have a relationship. Center back position is so much about the relationship and understanding, the timing and who moves and who goes to get the ball first. So there's a lot of things that still need to learn. But I think for the future, these are both guys that can play the ball, both guys that are big, physically strong, athletic. Like these are more of a modern full center backs. How
about the goalkeeping position? Mike, we were talking about this for a while. Gazzetta went nuts after North Macedonia put the ball into the back of the net on the free kick for Donnarumma. And I saw an angle also from behind the wall where it really looked like Donnarumma, he kind of cheated a little bit going one way and then he got caught out. But with his height and everything that he has, you would expect him to save it. And also I think for the way that Italy tries to play and the way that modern football has been, he came onto the scene in crazy fashion. Well, we all know that. He was right away tipped as the next Buffon. But in modern football, the ball at the feet is very important, and he clearly lacks with the ball at his feet. So would you put his position up for dispute, considering the other players we have?
So, I mean, we talked about Donnarumma, whatever. He was a wonder kid for how many years and all this stuff. A lot of people gave him flack for that goal. I would say, yeah, he was at fault, but then not entirely his fault. So it could have been either way. But regardless, even before that goal, I feel like, I don't know about you guys, but I feel like Donnarumma's kind of content in that spot. It feels like he's not pressured, like he's that number one. And I feel like for national teams in general, you should never feel too comfortable in your spot. You should always be fighting for your spot like someone's breathing down your neck. And I feel like Donnarumma's too comfortable in that spot. So if I was Spalletti, maybe I'd give someone like Vicario, who's been doing very good at Spurs, made a huge move for Empoli for Spurs, just to try him out, maybe in a friendly or whatever the case is. So Donnarumma knows, listen, you're the keeper for Italy, but if you're not performing up to task, if you're not showing that you are evolving, your spot's not safe, just like everyone else's spot. That's what I believe in.
I mean, if you're a goalkeeper from the national team, you need to make that save, and you don't get beat on your post.
Yeah.
If you get beat on the other post, that's fine. That's a perfect shot to put it, but you got beat where you were supposed to be. So yes, I blame Donnarumma on that, and he's very weak with his feet.
Yeah.
If I'm a coach, the goalkeeper never touches the ball with his feet.
We know that about you.
Okay, there was a statistics where the goalkeeper touched the ball more than the center forward. That's crazy.
Is this an Antonio statistic?
No. This is an Allegri statistic. That's crazy. I mean, if you think about it, the goalkeeper touched the ball more than the center forward. Give me a break.
What I can say is that Donnarumma ball at his feet is horrible. The only thing is his luck is that the Italian goalkeepers behind them aren't so great. I mean, Meret is even worse.
No, Vicario's good.
Vicario's
I feel like we have good players.
I mean,
I wouldn't say Meret's even worse.
Who else is the next
bad
guy? So I would also go to the Italian. Let's go to Serie A. Okay, Serie A. Inter does not have an Italian goalkeeper. Milan does not have an Italian goalkeeper. Juventus doesn't have an Italian goalkeeper.
Perin is good.
Yeah, he's not the number one.
Doesn't play.
Roma doesn't have an Italian goalkeeper. So like, from such a historic position, when you look at Italy and the goalkeeper position,
Lazio finished second. They have an Italian goalkeeper.
Okay, Provedel. But why? He's not gonna push Donnarumma, unfortunately.
I think Vicario can.
Yeah,
He made a big move to Spurs. He's playing in a tough place.
And they're having a good run
Under a lot of pressure.
He's doing good in Spurs.
He's doing really well.
It can be an evolution thing, but for 5 games in Tottenham is not enough.
Okay, fair enough.
Take Donnarumma's seat.
Also, for this moment, I think you made a good point though too with Spalletti. Spalletti trained the team for 5 days before the North Macedonia match. So number one, it takes time, and rightfully so. He should slowly implement his ideas. He had to just get these games won. We didn't do it against Macedonia. They're the team that we can't beat for one reason or another. I think Mike, you said it well, that not able to be clinical. We also had a lot of injuries, and that's not an excuse, because no matter any of our team, we should go out and be able to win the games. But I still feel like, again, I know we had the opportunities, like you said, that we didn't score. But I feel like without Federico Chiesa up top, there still lacks to be a guy that has the courage in moments to be your man, take a shot, score a goal. The amount of times I saw, and I know I'm going back to the Macedonia game, especially when it was 1-1, that we're on the left side trying to cross balls in, when that's not our style of game. That's not the game that helped us win the Euros. We were direct. We were forward. We took risks. There was no one who said, give me the ball, I'm going to take a shot. Let me be the man. Even Gnonto, who I like him on the ball, scared, constantly going backwards. That sort of player, just that characteristic, the only one I see in attack is Federico Chiesa.
I thought I would never say this.
Oh boy.
That because I like Chiesa on the wing, but if this guy keeps scoring at Juventus the way Allegri is using him right now,
false 9, baby.
Hey, why not? Let's try. We need to score goals. I mean, Allegri thinks he could score 16 goals and say, maybe.
But he plays off Vlahovic.
So you put somebody next to him.
Immobile.
So I think now you can put, you don't need, if you're playing with 2 up front, hey.
But Spalletti doesn't play like that. He plays with a striker.
I know.
So it's unrealistic.
But
do you think he should switch to 4-2-3-1?
But if this guy Chiesa keeps scoring,
whatever I say, he's not going to change his formation.
If Chiesa keeps scoring, and now maybe it's time that we change something.
You know what we do?
We don't score in the national team.
Let's come to a consensus on what the best Italy 11 is. Everybody healthy, everybody available.
I wish Antonio was here for this one. I wish he was here for this
best Italy. Antonio wanted to get rid of every single player on the Italian national team.
Okay.
And the coach, he's right.
What position?
Donnarumma.
It's not a coach.
Vicario.
We all agree.
Donnarumma, yeah.
Donnarumma.
I don't think there's anybody, even though he makes mistakes, he's...
Donnarumma. The back line.
Left back.
No, start right back. Who starts left back?
From left to right, you go. No, just like
right
you
to
read.
left. No, I go
Don't
right
you
to
read? I read go from left to right.
The
just
number
like I read.
two, the number two is the right,
Really?
Yes.
right
Yeah.
fullback.
You read
Yeah,
from
but
left
I
to
always
right.
yeah, but
Right
yeah,
back.
exactly. The
I don't know.
numbers is
I
two.
go this way.
The number two. When we were growing up, the number two was always the right fullback, and number
It's
three
the
always
right,
the left.
Right back, you go
Oh,
first.
okay.
That's what I always.
Okay, that's
I,
what
I
do.
also just watched the video today of Guardiola saying how he writes. Micah Richards was saying how Guardiola always puts the right back second.
We should
so
go
it was
Morta's
fresh-
formation to the side.
It was fresh on my mind. So Di Lorenzo, obviously, Bastoni. No,
Yeah, I guess.
not Calabria.
No, yeah.
Di Lorenzo, center back pairing.
Bastoni.
Do we like Bastoni Scalvini or Bastoni
I like
Acerbi?
Bastoni. I like.
Bastoni's a left-footed. I feel.
No, I gotta do it for the future. It's gotta be Scalvini, Bastoni.
They're both left, right? Bastoni and Acerbi. I don't know. I don't think we got a big problem with the center backs.
Really?
I mean, we'll find two good center backs. I mean, today really they were never. If DeMarco didn't give him the ball, I mean, DeMarco gave him the ball.
Yeah, that's true.
Really,
There was
were
no
they
threatening
There was a
on
couple
goal.
of
there
times
was
that
a
I-
shot
but-
from outside the area. There was a couple of shots from outside the area.
and
but
one that
But
one
when
out.
we play against a team like I don't know Portugal,
Yeah.
who's got so many talents up top, that's what scares me in the back line.
But against the
gotta
England,
give
who
them
played
time.
against England? Bastoni. Last year,
I
when
feel
we
like it
won
was
the
Acerbi.
European, when we won the European.
Oh,
Bonucci.
it was
Bonucci.
Chiellini.
Bonucci.
Bonucci,
Yeah.
Chiellini. Yeah.
No, but Bastoni was there too. No,
No, not starting.
no.
You didn't start. You didn't
No,
start.
the last game though against Macedonia, Mancini was starting. For me, Mancini
No.
doesn't
Yeah,
belong anywhere
Mancini.
near the Italian national
That
team.
guy's too rash.
He
makes
wants to
rash
fight more than he
decisions.
wants to play
Yeah.
football.
He'll just get a red card out of nowhere. That guy.
Okay, so we're not agreeing on the center back.
I think that's fine.
Well,
for
I think
now.
Bastoni.
I like Bastoni.
Who's the other
Scalvini.
center back? be?
Scalvini, Acerbi.
Casale, Romagnoli.
Casale,
I mean, come
Romagnoli.
on, I don't think they're good enough. I put
I like.
Scalvini.
I say
young.
Acerbi, but okay, you guys say
No,
Scalvini.
I mean you gotta build for the future now, don't you? There's
Okay.
a new era. You can't do Acerbi.
Okay, left back Di Marco
Yeah,
over
Di
Biraghi.
Marco. Yes, yes.
We'll agree.
yes.
Or even Udoji. Udoji, we still
For
don't.
now,
we
I
still
mean,
don't have him.
Di
Well, we
Marco's
got
playing very
Spinazzola. Spinazzola, he had a great.
He got hurt already, I think, right?
Yeah,
European.
He had a good game run.
Yeah,
out.
he had an amazing Euros, but since then, I
He
don't
had
know.
an amazing. I think I won't count Spinazzola out. I like Spinazzola.
Okay, midfield.
Wow.
when he
really?
came in with Roma the last game, he changed the game a little bit.
Midfield 3.
They lost
This is where we'll
those.
probably get the dispute in.
Yeah.
Remember that Tonali is available if you want him.
I think from what we saw today, Frattesi and Barella,
Or it should be
they
automatic.
should
Yeah,
should not be
I
automatic.
agree.
any.
I agree. But who's the regista?
Are
The
we doing
regista in the middle.
Tonali,
Cristante or Locatelli?
We're not- are we doing two?
Now Locatelli.
Are we doing two holding there? Or we're
No,
doing
3.
One.
It's 3. We have Barella and Frattesi already, so you need one regista.
One in the back in front of the defense. I put Cristante there.
No, I don't like Cristante.
So who do you put? It's Locatelli or Cristante? Who are you trying to think of?
Locatelli,
Don't-
Tonali in there. Don't worry.
Huh?
You can play the
Tonali?
regista.
Tonali.
Throw
But
Tonali.
Tonali's
in there.
better
I don't know.
box to
I know he's
box.
more box to box, but I'm just not
need
a
somebody in
fan of
front of the
Locatelli.
defense.
Yeah, I know.
Locatelli and
Yo, let's get Rovella.
What's the name?
Maybe he starts playing with Lazio a little
Sensi.
bit.
Bring Sensi
I'd
back.
rather have Tonali
give
play
you a
there
good
than have
15 minutes.
Cristante or Locatelli, honestly.
I think Cristante
Personally.
defensively is better than the other guys.
Look,
He's
He
too
will.
one-dimensional, Cristante. I feel like Cristante is way too one-dimensional.
I will give the midfield again another try. The next game, I give the same midfield that we have with Locatelli there. Okay, up top.
Oh, boy.
The wings.
I mean,
Chiesa,
Chiesa's got to be
right
on
wing.
one side, and the way Zaniolo played today, I will put Zaniolo. So Chiesa and Zaniolo on the
Okay.
Chiesa.
I agree.
Politano for me was
No,
really,
yeah.
really
Off the
bad.
bench.
Chiesa, Zaniolo, they're very active.
I know. I was not crazy about Zaniolo, but today he played a good game. Okay,
And Immobile.
center forward. Center forward.
Center forward, I will go with Scamacca.
Let's do it.
Scamacca, we all agree. The Immobile fans in the comments are hating us. They're disliking the
I
podcast
don't-
right now.
Like I said it so many times before, and I'll say it again. Immobile for me
Oh,
is not the number 9 for the Italian national team. When you look at the number 9s that have been in the past, you could score all the goals you want in Serie A, but if you see his track record, is not the one that's gonna put Italy to win.
you know
a
who's
game.
another one? I kind of group in the same bucket as him, and I can't believe I'm saying this because after that game against Macedonia, I know I'm judging off of one game and the opportunity, but Berardi, I kind of group him there, but I would give him another chance too because I think he's got the qualities to be able to help the team. I go Chiesa, Berardi, Scamacca. That will be
the
my
starting
front
lineup?
three. Yeah, front three. Try them. I want to see next game, that lineup. That will make me happy.
What's he have, a Calcio merch or something that I don't know about?
No, Berardi puts up big numbers. It's just sometimes character-wise, he's not there in the big moments. And again, you told me this a couple months ago. I will be calling you crazy. I'd say there's no way I want to give him another chance, but I would. I will put him there.
Well, let's have our audience also decide the best 11. Give us
and our producer.
Yeah, give us producer, Mr.
He's
Producer. What's your center forward? We dispute center midfield and center forward.
Center forward. Just give us center forward. Scamacca, Immobile, Raspadori. Scamacca. So we're all in agreement on Scamacca. What else? What else we got? Anything else about
What
the
do you guys
Italian
think
national
about
team?
Gnonto?
No.
There's a lot of mixed reviews. No, not as a star. Just what do you think about it?
I don't like that he's still playing at Leeds.
Yeah,
Doesn't make me
he's in
happy.
second division.
The fact that a Serie A team like, I don't know, Sassuolo or something couldn't get him.
But it wasn't because of that. It's financially. They spent money for him. They weren't going to let him go for free. They want to jump back into the first division.
I didn't mean it just for that.
was
I just
trying
meant
to
I
get
don't
out.
like that he's playing his football in second division.
No, I know. But he was with the first division. He was in the Premier League last year.
He's got the talent, though. I think he's got the talent.
He's a lot of. He's
but
raw. He's very raw.
He doesn't go for it enough. He doesn't always try to beat his man. You know, I see him doing
like
a couple of good things, and then he goes back.
I feel like
and he resorts
I feel
to
like
the
I
same
don't know
thing.
if it's a Spalletti thing because at least whenever I see him, he really attacks the defense. Here, he hesitates, he second guesses, and then turns his back and
Bro,
passes
it's not
it
a
back.
Spalletti thing. He did it with Mancini too. He did it with Mancini.
Maybe he's nervous with the national team.
I think it's when you come off the bench and the game is 2-1, you're also
Don't wanna lose the
programmed
ball,
not
too.
to lose the ball.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
the idea is, hey, I can take the man on, but you know what? I'm going to be tactically aware to recycle the ball and remove that ball. Let's move it around. So if you start a game, your mentality is a little bit different. The score is 0-0. You know there's 90 minutes left to play, so it's a little bit easier. When you come on to a game, you have to understand the moments, understand management of the clock.
You still got time?
Yeah.
All right. Should we talk about the derby a little bit? If nothing else,
Let's do it.
It's nothing else with the Italian national team. The derby. I know no Antonio, unfortunately, so we don't
Mets. He's got to go watch the
he's
Mets.
watching baseball right now.
That's
How
crazy.
you feel ahead of this derby? Because it's the two best teams right now in Serie A. You know, perfect. You guys haven't conceded a goal though. You're the only team I think in the top 5 leagues that hasn't conceded a goal. I believe so far into match day 3.
And the Inter players are playing good for that Azzurri too, so that's another +1.
Not Di Marco.
Yeah.
Not after that pass. How you feeling going into this match?
I think the international break kind of takes a little bit out of this game because you're gonna have a lot of players coming, especially there's so many international players for both Inter and Milan that traveling the 2 games in a week. It's a lot for the beginning of the season. So, I don't know if we'll have the same form. Both Inter and Milan were on unbelievable form before the international break. I do think obviously the game and just whoever arrives the couple of days before, you're gonna feel and you know what the derby is about. So like motivation wise and just the experience overall, these guys are gonna be ready for the game. How do I see the game? I think it's gonna be a very, very close match. I think both Milan and Inter, we've seen them like really dominate games in possession, and then at the same time they haven't played this counter-attacking style, but they have the players to be able to break on the counter. Both Milan and Inter. Because I feel that Inter, right, if you look at whether it be Barella, but even Thuram now adds an extra part of our game that we didn't have in the past, which is the ability to run in behind the defense. So and Milan we know already with Leao, with now adding a Pulisic and being able to be lethal, just as lethal on the other side. Now you can't double Leao. You can't give the space or favor one side.
Exactly.
It's gonna be a
Equal
battle.
attack, yeah.
You guys are much more adept to the counterattack. Inter.
Well, because of how we have to play with Inzaghi sometimes, but I think Milan is better suited for a counterattack. I think so. With the Theo Hernandez, Leao, a Pulisic,
I think that's going to be where they get hurt. I think Milan is probably the team that's impressed me the most in terms of, I thought that they were going to be good. I didn't think they'd have this much chemistry and be this good going forward. And they've been the funnest team for me to watch in Serie A. The team that I've most enjoyed. Loftus-Cheek bombing forward. Reinders in the midfield. I think one of the best signings. Pulisic goes without saying. They have options that will contribute to goals. My fear is, this is just the theory that I've had, is that the defense is not as good as we think. Just because they haven't played a top team yet. They've played strong teams, but they haven't played with amazing strikers. And I see them going forward a lot, which I love. It's fun to watch. My fear for them is that they're going to get caught up the field a lot. And Inter are experts at counterattacking football, where you guys are okay with absorbing and breaking quick. And I think without Tomori, who they don't have in their center back, I'm reading also Kalulu might not be fit to play. I think defensively they were already question mark for me. And now the fact that they keep pushing guys forward, which I think that's what they're going to do, you guys are going to be very content with sitting back and boom, hitting on the counter.
Another thing to fight on that real quick, I agree with that a lot. The one is a huge loss. Another thing is Inter haven't conceded a goal. I believe Milan conceded 2 goals in those 3 games, but Milan's opposition was tougher than Inter's. So that's another thing to add in. So it's more...
Milan's was tougher than Inter.
Yeah, Milan's opponents were tougher than Inter's.
And they only conceded.
So now Milan's attack, which just looks incredible, I think is going to give Inter's defense a run for their money for sure.
They also, Milan, they looked in difficulty when they had a man less. When Roma were a man up, then okay, it looked tough. And I know Roma was out without Pellegrini and Dybala, and Lukaku then came in. But that was the only time that Milan looked poor. But you're right that the opposition that they played have been different.
That's to be said.
I think, like you said, to cut it off, Gaetano, but yeah, Inter, we've seen in the past how they can defend, but I still see the way Inzaghi plays, he's going to play the ball also. So that's why I feel if Inter, at times when we push too high, Milan, I think, are better suited to counter. That was my point. Okay. That was my point. Because Inzaghi also plays a lot of the...
So when is the game? Saturday or Sunday?
Saturday. 12 o'clock.
16.
So it would have been better for Sunday.
Of course.
It would have given an extra day, especially to rest because
Champions League?
Because you have to travel.
Yes. It's because Champions League.
Oh, there's a Champions League.
It's a bad time. By the way, the international break, right when we start Serie A, I'm just getting into the groove of things. We're 3 games in.
Yeah. Okay, so is Giroud playing this game? Or
he should be.
Or is he hurt?
They said that it was not as bad.
Okay, so if we put the teams that more or less we left before the international break, Inter is favorite. Inter is playing really good.
Yeah, Inter's favorite.
But on a derby, doesn't mean anything. On a derby, AC Milan can beat you.
Of course.
So you need to be ready. I see maybe a tie on this game. I don't know if Milan, if Giroud is there, and they got Leao, and they got Pulisic. The midfielder is good. The guy in the back is good.
Ciao.
Yeah, is good. I like him.
I know, but no Tomori.
Who could play next to him?
Kier.
Oh, you got Kier. Yeah, Kier is
old,
good,
bro.
No, come on. He's good. Kier is good,
but he doesn't have a lot of minutes. I feel
it doesn't matter. So. It doesn't have an answer, but he's got the experience. The guy's a national team player. He playing in the World Cup. He playing in the European Cup.
The national team player is the most coined.
Lautaro's also hot.
He's hot right now.
Lautaro is hot, and he loves a goal against Milan. Mm-hmm. He always scores against Milan.
Yeah, he's good.
So
he's a killer.
With Lautaro in the form that he's in, like you said, a derby, anything could happen.
Anything can happen. I see Inter favorite.
I see the same thing.
In
this game.
But like you said, it doesn't matter.
And you know what the thing is? The last 4 derbies, I think you guys have won. Inzaghi found the...
4?
No. I think it's 4.
Champions
League. Was it Coppa Italia? Check. But I'm pretty sure it's 4 that you guys won in a row. And Inzaghi's found the formula against Milan. Because early on, and this is also just what we said about Inzaghi, sometimes mentally they've crumbled. He's made... The game that's most evident to me, I was at 4.
Super Cup, Serie A, Champions League, twice.
Mm-hmm. The game that I was at, that I watched it, where Inter's in total control for 45 minutes, 1-0 up, and then they lose. Giroud turns 2 times, 2-1, they win, which I think was might have been the first derby over there.
The first
that was, and also then there was the 3-2 where Leao turned Skriniar inside out last year around the same time. Mm-hmm. So there was moments where they lost the match for me because of decisions that Inzaghi made. That's the way that I saw it in those games. So that's my fear.
No, I know. I listen, I think that Inzaghi especially, there's been an evolution in his time with Inter. I think the Inzaghi in the first year was still concentrated in what he used to do with Lazio and how he was trying to organize his game plan and the substitutions and everything else. And that was also evident within the first half of the season last year. But then as the year went on, obviously the team was gelling. He had his players back. And also you saw his tendencies to make these subs because of a yellow card, because of this, or because of that, kind of fade away. So I think if he's able to now understand after the 2 seasons that he had with Inter to say, hey, I'm going to make these subs or make these decisions based on intuition or me reading the game more than what the probability of getting the second yellow card, that's what's going to be the deciding factor. And I think whether, you look at the Supercoppa, you look at the Coppa Italia, you look in the Champions League run, I think he outcoached even Guardiola, from what I understand and how I see the game. I think he matched, at the very least, if you don't want to say, because in the end he lost, but he matched a top. Okay, he matched Guardiola, and he made that Inter team, in the right position to win the match.
I agree with everything you said. That's just my little pushback on my fear, because like you're saying, Inter's favorite, but when it comes down to those moments, I'm just saying I have the little scars where I was sure Inter would do it.
Listen, for me, to say Inter's favorite, I think Milan's on the same type of run. Okay, we let in 2 goals less, or whatever the case might be. But Milan's at the same level as what Inter's doing. They're running through teams the first 3 games. Very hard to see. And, yes, Inter have Lautaro, but Milan has Leao. Leao is a top player. He's the best player in Serie A right now, with the Osimhen. Lautaro is right underneath them too. If
Tomori, maybe I'm putting too much value in Tomori being out for the second yellow card that he got against Roma, which Belotti is going nowhere. It was just not a smart second yellow card to miss the derby. So maybe I'm putting too much.
And I feel Milan have a vengeance versus Inter. And we kicked them out of the semifinal, so they're gonna come out.
This has nothing to do with this game. I'm just talking in general. You get 2 yellow cards, you miss a game, and that's got to change. Give him a fine, let him pay. Let these guys pay money. They make millions of dollars. The league, you got no money? Find the players.
Sure, the players are gonna love that.
Yeah, find the players. You see, they're not gonna get any more yellow cards.
2 yellow cards, though, is stupid.
Yeah, it's a stupid rule. Change it.
Yellow cards.
We want to see the stars.
Because yellows are tactical.
We want to see the stars.
It's not dirty. It's not like a dirty thing.
But we want to see the stars playing in the game. We don't want to see, the best players have to play. Can you imagine if there was a rule like this and Michael Jordan gets 2 yellow cards and there's a game and he's out of the game and you can see Michael Jordan? Are you crazy? Come on. Let's get with the
program.
Yeah, with the program.
It's one of those things where you look at other sports and you say, okay, it makes sense. Not everything.
Nobody does it. No other sport does it. True? No other sport does it.
Hockey.
If you reject it from a game, you get a fine. Yeah. But the next game you play.
But also, I think it's very different too if you punch somebody in the face and you're beating the guy up versus
in hockey you could do that.
I'm saying for our scenario. It's different the type of foul that you make. A second yellow, that's sometimes tactical or whatever it is. I know his is a second yellow that leads to a red, but the ones that I don't know. That's how I feel. I agree with you. I think that's something that could be changed. That it?
Predictions?
Prediction.
Inter 2-1. Frattesi scores. Winner.
1-1.
Take it.
Mike?
Me, Mike.
Don't think too hard. You're going to hurt yourself.
1-1.
I'll take what Marco says.
And a producer?
2-0 Milan. From Enrico Bocca di Foco, the Milan fan.
I was about to say.
All right, guys. Thank you, everybody, for watching.
Do we know?
We'll talk to you soon.
Do we know if Antonio took Ukraine in this game, or if Ukraine, or he took AC Milan? Where did he take it?
We don't know.
Can we find out?
We don't know. We'll call him. We'll call him and find out.
Can we call him now?
No, leave him. We had enough of him today. All right, guys. Thank you very much for watching. We'll talk to you soon. Ciao, ragazzi.
Forza?
Forza FTV.
I was going to say Sassuolo.